Hey everybody, it is Lisa. I'm sorry I've been MIA for the last couple days, but YouTube has not been cooperating with my video uploads. So I'm going to try and make this video a little bit shorter than the rest of them. The rest of them have been like 12 minutes, and see if maybe that helps. So I will try and still continue to get those uploaded, but I don't know what's going on. So here's a fresh start. I wanted to talk to you guys today about our sleeping experience with our newborn, just because I've come to find out that no matter how much you plan, things always change. So when we first found out that we were pregnant, me and my husband both agreed that we would not bed share. My husband is a very heavy sleeper. He snores and he does not sleep straight. He sleeps diagonal. We do have a California king bed. It's large. I mean, we have plenty of space, but he is a heavy sleeper and an erratic sleeper. Me on the same time, I also can have very deep sleep. And so it was just a worry for us that, we could hit the baby. Also, there's been times that me and my husband have fallen asleep cuddling and my arms go numb and it's painful. And I'd hate to be in this super comfortable position with the baby and my arm falls asleep and then I have to move the baby and then the baby wakes up. So what we decided that we would do is we would co-sleep. The baby was going to be in the room. He would be in the room for us for the first 6 months, and then he would go to his own nursery. And we had a pack and play, and you could actually raise the base of it, so it's only about 4 inches deep. And it had an infant, like, sleeper in it, so it was, I don't know if you've seen those bouncers that kind of cradle it. It's almost like a papasan, I guess you could say. Well, it has that to it, and it also vibrates, and it has a little thing for music and a thing for a light. So, we thought that was perfect, and there was also a place for diapers, and so we did that. So we put that in our room. Well, when Elam came home with us, my milk hadn't come in yet, so he was nursing 24/7. Just because what little milk he was getting, he was starving. So for the first 2 days, he was sleeping in bed with me basically because he was latched on 24/7. The thing that I found weird was my arm never went to sleep. It was very comfortable, and I was very alert. Like, I still would get a lot of rest, and I didn't feel sleep deprived, but I was very alert of all of my movements, all of his movements, everything. So it was just weird how your mommy mode kicks in differently. So we did that for the first couple days, and then we had to go into the hospital for 3 days because of his jaundice was so bad, and I ended up having to supplement feed. So he was only nursing every 2 hours. Finally, after about a week, my milk did come in. Sorry, my husband's calling. So it finally did come in, and then he was nursing about every 2 to 2.5 hours. He was co-sleeping. I would put him in his little pack and play bassinet thing, but in the mornings, like at 4, I'd end up bringing him to bed with me because my husband works really early. So I felt confident, just having him in bed with us. So we did that for about 3 months, and then I noticed that me being a overprotective mommy, I was starting to get really not good sleep. I would constantly touch him or, whatever little movements he did in bed, I would wake up and I was just constantly exhausted. So once he turned about 4 months old and we started him on rice cereal, so he was sleeping a little bit longer, um, excuse that, we ended up moving him into his nursery. And he's been doing fantastic. He's sleeping through the night. He's now to the point where he's so comfortable in his nursery that we have a nighttime routine where he gets a bath. We, do a little bit of a baby massage, and we read a book, and then I feed him, and then I put him directly into his bed. I don't rock him anymore. I'm trying to wean him off of a binky, because we were having a big problem with, at night, his binky would fall out of his mouth, and he'd cry, and I just have to go in there and reset the binky. And because he does have a weak suck, it's really hard for him to keep the binky in his mouth, so I'd end up having to put like a blanket, like to tie down basically the binky. So he doesn't have a problem with it if he goes to bed without a binky. If he goes to bed with a binky, then he will wake up and I have to reset it. So that's kind of one of the major things that we're working on right now. But he loves his nursery. He does really well. We have a little iPod dock, and my husband's very persistent. We have an iPod dock, and it has a lullaby music that we have on we downloaded from iTunes, and some Baby White music, and he listens to that and just passes out completely. So he's doing really good with that. Oh, excuse me. So yeah, I mean, like I said, things never turned out the way that we wanted them to. We had this plan, and it just didn't work. He went into his nursery a lot sooner. The one thing that does make me confident and not confident, comfortable with him being in his nursery is we did buy a video monitor. So anytime at night when I wake up to go to the bathroom and I want to check on him, I don't have to go in his nursery. I can just flip his monitor on. So yeah, so that's about it. He's sleeping. We are still bed sharing. He does wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning when my husband gets up to go to work. So my husband will change his diaper and then bring him into bed with me, and I will feed him, and he will pass back out for another 4 or 5 hours. So that's what we've been doing pretty much with our sleeping. Like I said, he's doing really well without me having to rock him. I just set him down, listen to his music, turn on his mobile, and he ends up falling asleep himself, which is what I'm really excited for. We did have to let him cry, I'll admit. That was another thing that I was highly against, but we only let him cry for about 5 to 10 minutes, and then I'd go in there and comfort him and put his binky back in his mouth if that was what the issue was, or reset the blanket on him. He's a very big tosser and turner. He's actually worn out. He's made himself bald in the back of his head because he constantly throws his head back and forth. So that's a little bit of a just a quirk that he does. But it was those type of little quirks that were keeping me up at night, because I thought at any minute he's gonna wake up. So him being in his bed, his own room, has been a good thing for me and him. So yeah, that's how it's working now. Like I said, he's sleeping through the night. He's not waking up to eat anymore. And so it's just been fantastic. So I will see you guys tomorrow. Have a nice day. Bye.